Hi guys! Today's discussion is about lot sizing techniques under the topic of materials requirement planning. So we have three techniques for lot sizing. So first is lot for lot or L for L in shortcut. We have economic order quantity or EOQ, and we have part period balancing or PPB. To define first lot for lot or L for L, orders just what is required for production based on net requirements. It may not always be feasible, and if setup costs are high, it can be expensive. So actually, lot for lot practices the concept of just in time. So you order just what is the amount you need for production. Second is economic order quantity or EOQ. So this basically uses the formula or the concept of economic order quantity. So it expects a known constant demand, and MRP systems often deal with unknown and variable demand. Third is yung part period balancing. So it looks at the future orders to determine most economic lot size. And we also use economic part period or EPP by using the formula your setup cost divided by the holding cost. Now we have an example. So first, using the lot for lot technique. So we have the following gross requirement for 7 weeks. So we will be solving this in a tabular manner. So we will be writing the projected on hand, net requirements, the planned order receipt, and planned order release. So we are also given the following data that your on-hand inventory is 10 units. We also have a setup cost of $80, inventory cost of $2 per unit per week, and the lead time is 1 week. So si lot for lot siya yung pinakamadali kasi wala siyang tinatago or wala siyang kinikip na inventory. So we only order what is needed, and at the same time, on that same period, na-use up yung ating demand or yung ating units. So, 30 yung ating gross requirement. We're given a projected on hand of 10 units o yung ating current inventory is 10 units. So, for our net requirement, so this is just the difference between gross requirement and projected on hand or yung ating current inventory level. So, 30 and 10, so we will need or we still need 20 units for our production. So, since lot for lot only orders what is needed, so ang ating planned order receipt is 20, and we will be releasing the order 1 week before the week it is needed. So, take note na sa week 1 daw, kailangan may 20 units tayo. So, dapat ma-receive natin yung 20 units. And para mangyari yon, since we are given a lead time of 1 week, so we will be ordering 20 units 1 week prior to the week of usage, which is at week 1. So, ibig sabihin, yung 20 units, so nilagay natin lang dun sa 1 week before. So, kasi the lead time is 1 week. So, para kapag in-order ko siya prior to week 1, so by the time na magsisimula na yung ating production, so natanggap na natin yung ating units. Now, take note that week 1 can be, let's say, the first week of June or second week of July. So, kung second week of July siya kailangan, so ibig sabihin, sa first week of July pa lang, i-order na natin siya. So, yun kasi yung concept ng lead time. Okay? Now, for the second week, so wala na tayong projected on hand kasi na-use up na siya doon sa unang week, and yung in-order lang naman natin is yung sakto lang dun sa net requirement. So, therefore, if we do not have projected on hand, so yung ating net requirement is 40 units. So, again, lot for lot only orders what is needed. So, ang ating planned order receipt is 40 units, and we will be ordering it on week 1. So, para ma-receive natin siya by week 2. Third week, so wala na tayong gross requirement. So, yung ating projected on hand is still 0. So, 0 pa rin for our net requirement. Now, for week 4, again, wala tayong inventory. So, therefore, we will be needing 20 units para sa ating net requirement. So, we are planning to have a receipt of these orders on the same week, which is on the 4th week, but we will be releasing the order on the 3rd week. So, again, follow lang. So, 15 units ang ating net requirement. 15 for the 5th week again, and we will be releasing the order on week 4. Then 0 for week 6, and then 0 again for our inventory for week 7. So by week 7, so we need a net requirement of 20 units, which is projected to be received on the same week, week 7. But it should be released, or yung order should be called for on week 6 pa. Okay? Again, LotforLot uses the same concept of inventory or just-in-time system, which follows the concept of not holding inventory and only ordering what is needed. Now, paano computein yung total cost nito? So, you're just going to count ilang beses siyang umorder. So, unang beses ng umorder is yung prior to week 1, on week 1, week 3, week 4, and week 6. So, that is a total of 5 orders. Then, for our total cost, so yung ating number of orders is 5. So, therefore, yung ating total cost is simply 5 times the setup cost of $80, so which is $400 for the entire production week. So, for 7 weeks daw, the cost of this lot sizing technique is $400. Okay? Now, let's go to EOQ. So, kasi we want to compare total costs of the 3 lot sizing techniques we have discussed. So, for EOQ, so we are going to solve for the Q using the following formula or the following steps. So, first is to get the average demand. And second is to solve for the Q using yung formula natin for the square root of 2ds over H. So, where your D is your average demand. Take note that your demand and your holding cost should be following the same time unit. So, if yung ating demand is weekly, dapat yung holding cost natin is weekly din. Okay? So, yung average demand natin, so this is just the average of all the gross requirements. So, yun yung 30 plus 40 plus 0 plus 20 plus 15 plus 0 and plus 20, and we divide it by 7 kasi 7 weeks yung total duration of our planning period. So, yung ating demand or yung average demand natin is 17.86 units. Therefore, the value of Q is using again the formula, substituting lang 2 times 17.86 over times 80, divide by 2, and do not forget the square root. So, yung ating Q is 37.79 or roughly 38 units. So, we usually round off yung ating value just to be sure na hindi tayo mauubusan ng stock when production begins. So, take note that we don't need to convert in annual terms since it will only be canceled. So, kasi if you look at the formula, ang ating average demand is in weeks. And yung ating lead time or yung ating holding cost is also in weeks. Take note that we have a constant number that we have 52 weeks in a year. So, kapag kinonvert ko yung aking demand into annual, kasi diba in inventory management system, nasanay tayo that the Q value is using an annual demand and yung ating holding cost is per unit per year. So, kaya kung i-convert man natin yung D at yung H into annual terms, wala naman siyang magiging effect kasi if you multiply the numerator by 52 and you multiply the denominator by 52, so canceled lang naman sila. So, kaya okay lang siya. So, ibig sabihin, ano bang ibig sabihin ng 38 units? So, every time na o-order daw, you have to order a fixed amount of 38 units. Diba yun yung concept ng ating economic order quantity or EOQ. So, balikan natin yung ating formula or yung ating given example. So, balikan natin siya that your projected on hand is 10 units. And again, you have a net requirement of 20. So, yung ating Q na na-solve is 38. So, therefore, yung ating o-orderin should be 38. And this will be released again 1 week prior to the start of the production period. So, that is a week before week 1. And then, since yung ating order na ni-release is 38 pero 20 lang yung kailangan. So, any excess from there will be going to projected on hand on the following period. So, kung 38 yung in-order, 20 lang yung kailangan. So, 38 minus 20, yung 18 units, yun ay i-carry over on to the next period, so which is week 2. Okay? So, again, any excess inventory from the net requirement and yung order natin, so maki-carry over lang siya on to the following period. So, 40 yung ating gross requirement for week 2 and we have on-hand inventory of 18. So, therefore, we only be needing 22 units as our net requirement. And again, EOQ follows the concept of having fixed order size. So, we will be ordering again 38 units on week 2, which should be released a week prior to that, which is in week 1. So, again, since mas malaki yung ating in-order sa net requirement, so any excess will be projected on hand onto the next period. So, 38 minus 22 is 16. So, hindi naman siya magagamit on week 3 kasi wala naman tayong gross requirement. So, yung 16 units will be carried over onto the next period. So, 20 minus 16, so we have 4 net requirement for week 4. So, again, we will be ordering the same size of 38 units. So, 38 again prior to that week. So, 38 is again larger by 4 or larger than 4. So, 38 minus 4 is 34 units on hand for week 5. And then, ito, since mas malaki yung on-hand natin than our gross requirement, so, papasok lang siya dun sa projected on-hand dun sa week 6. Again, kapag mas malaki yung on-hand sa gross requirement, wala na tayong isusulat sa net requirement. So, 34 minus 15 will be your next inventory for week 6. So, 34 minus 15 is 19. So, since wala naman gagamit ng units on week 6, again, this will be carried over on to week 7. So, 19 units on week 7. So, since may 20 tayong requirement, so our net requirement is only 1 unit. So, again, we will be releasing an order of 38 units by week 6. So, counting all the orders made, so we have 4 orders, pero ang ating computation of our total cost is based on the formula of EOQ. So, let's go to the solution. So, your total cost for EOQ, again, is yung ating QH over 2, and then we add DS over Q. So, yung ating formula will be substituted by the formula or yung ating values for the formula. So, yung ating actual Q na na-solve kanina is 37.79. So, times 2, which is our holding cost, divide by 2, plus yung ating 17.86 multiplied by 80, and then divide by 37.79. So, we will arrive with an answer of $75.59. But take note that this is only the weekly cost. And we need to determine the total cost for the entire planning period, which is 7 weeks. Therefore, ang ating actual total cost for the entire planning period is yung ating $75.59, and then you multiply by 7 weeks, our total cost is $529.13. So, if naaalala, kanina, L for L or yung LotforLot incurred a cost of $400, while EOQ incurred a cost of $529.13. Alright? Now, let's go to the next lot sizing technique, which is yung ating part period balancing. So, we want to determine the EPP or yung economic part periods. So, this will determine the maximum value of the trial lot size. So, ito yung mga significant na values na kailangan natin ma-solve mamaya. Second is the trial lot size should begin on the period where there is a net requirement. Okay, take note of this very important note. Na yung trial lot size daw should always begin on the period where there is a net requirement. So, yung third na kailangan tandaan is that the initial value of the trial lot size should be the same as the value of the net requirement. Okay? So yung second and third na note dyan, so yan yung mahalagang information na kailangan laging tandaan. Again, magsisimula lang tayo doon sa period na merong net requirement and yung trial lot size should be the same value as your net requirement on that specific period. Now, going back to our example, so again, ang EPP natin can be solved using the formula of F over H or yung ating setup cost over your holding cost, so which is $80 divided by 2. Therefore, 40 units. So, ito yung maximum trial lot size na pwede natin i-consider for our trial and error later in our solution. Now, take note, hindi lahat ng problem about lot sizing technique is applicable ang PPB. Paano natin malalaman kung hindi siya applicable? So, look at the given information, yung ating gross requirement. If any of your gross requirement, kahit isa lang, ay mas malaki doon sa EPP, ibig sabihin, PPB is not applicable for that particular problem. Okay? So, there can be cases. So, for example, in this scenario, let's say the maximum gross requirement that we can see ay 50. 50 yung maximum units. Eh, yung EPP na na-solve natin is only 40. So, ibig sabihin, hindi applicable ang PPB technique for that particular problem. So, we are to juggle between L4L and EOQ lang for that specific problem. Okay? So, going back, so again, we have an on-hand inventory of 10 and 20 yung ating net requirement. So, 20 daw, yung net requirement, ibig sabihin, our trial lot size will begin at week 1 and yung ating initial lot size is 20 units. Okay? So, dun tayo sa ating tabular form. So, meron tayong mga columns na isusulat. So, we have period, your trial lot size, and the part periods. So, since sa week 1 pa lang, may net requirement na, so we begin at period 1. Now, for example, week 2 pa lang lumabas na may net requirement. So, we will begin at week 2. Okay? So, usually, we begin at week 1 kapag there is no inventory on hand. So, automatic yon. Kasi since we have no inventory on hand, definitely, magkakaroon tayo ng net requirement sa umpisa pa lang. Now, for our trial lot size, again, yung ating net requirement for week 1 ay nakita natin, which is 20. So, 20 yung ating initial trial lot size. Then, for our part period, so ito daw yung bilang ng periods na hino-hold yung inventory or hino-hold mo yung units. Since yung 20 ay gagamitin mo naman na siya doon sa period 1, so hindi siya i-hold kasi i-use up na natin siya kaagad. So, kaya sa 0 siya naka-multiply. So, this will be 0. And then, ang goal kasi nitong trial and error nito is to find yung period na mag-exceed sa 40. Kasi, di ba, we have computed EPP as 40. So, trial and error siya in such a way na hindi tayo titigil hanggat yung ating na-solve na trial lot size is not greater than 40. Okay? So, 1 and 2. So, kapag inad natin siya, so that is 20 plus 40. So, kung tatandaan natin, yung ating gross requirement for week 2 is 40. So, tingnan natin siya ulit. So, sa week 2, 40 yung ating gross requirement. Okay? So, 20 plus 40 is 60. So, 60 na yung trial lot size. So, ibig sabihin, mas malaki na siya sa EPP. So, therefore, hindi natin siya i-consider. So, we will stop at week 1 with a trial lot size of 20 and yung part period natin is 0. So, mamaya may significance ng circle and box na yan. So, since we start or we ended with period 1, so another trial and error starting at week 2 na. So, sa week 2, 40 yung kanyang gross requirement. So, 40 times 0, so 0 siya for the part periods. So, again, hindi tayo titigil hanggat hindi tayo lumalagpas sa 40. So, kaya kahit na alam natin unconsciously na okay na to, so we still need to see kung yung 2 and 3 periods ba ay mas malaki sa 40 or not. So 2 and 3, take note that in our given, yung ating period 3 has a 0 gross requirement. So ibig sabihin, 40 plus 0 is still 40, and yung ating part periods is 40 times 0 plus 0 times 1. So, saan galing yung 1? Kasi, tuloy-tuloy siya. So, for any period na siya, i-hold yung inventory. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So, since moving tayo na dalawang periods na yung ating kino-consider, so, 0 and 1 na to note 2 periods. So, 40 times 0 plus 0 times 1. So, that is 0. And then, again, check pa rin natin kasi wala pa tayong nakaka-cancel out. 2, 3, and 4. So, 2, 3, and 4 is 40 plus 0 plus 20. So, obviously, that is 60. So, ibig sabihin, stop na tayo at period 3. Okay? So, we have 40 and we have 0. Okay? So, kung tayo nagsimula doon sa 2 and 3, so, natapos tayo doon sa hanggang week 4. Kasi si week 4, nag-60 siya. So, tinapos natin yung ating trial and error. So, we will begin again at week 4. So, yung continuation niya. Week 4 has a trial lot size of 20. Again, yung mga trial lot size natin is based on the gross requirement for each respective week. So, 20. So, we have 20 times 0 is 0. 4 and 5 is 20 plus 15 is 35. So, this is again 20 times 0 plus 15 times 1 for our part periods. So, this is equal to 15. 4, 5, and 6, or periods 4, 5, and 6. So, that's 20 plus 15 plus 0. So, that is still 35. So, this will now be 20 times 0 plus 15 times 1 plus 0 times 2. So, this is, again, 15. So, kung nakita natin, yung mga minultiply natin doon sa part periods, so yun yung mga periods na tuloy-tuloy. So, yung 0, 1, and 2. To denote the 3 periods na tumatakbo siya. Then, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, obviously, kapag inad natin siya, this will give us 55. So, ibig sabihin, stop na yung iteration natin for period 7. So, we will be considering just periods 4, 5, and 6. And then, again, 35 yung ating trial lot size, and yung ating part periods is 15. So, yung last na period na i-cover is yung period 7, and ang kanyang trial lot size is 20. And then, for our part period, so that is also 0. So, insert ulit si 20, and ibabox ulit natin si 0. So, take note, if you have your notes with you, so just note the numbers 0, 0, 15, and 0. So, yung mga nakabox na values. So, for our sa ating table, so yung ating mga projected on hand again is 10. So ang net requirement is 20. So kung babalikan natin yung ating given, so paki-note na din yung ating mga trial lot size, yung mga in-circle natin, yung 20, 40, 35, and 20 kasi yun yung gagamitin natin in the following slide. So again, so net requirement is 20. Based on the trial lot size na in-circle natin, 20 yung ating planned order receipt. And this will be released again 1 week prior to the start of the production. Then 0 for our projected on hand. Yung second na naka-in-circle ay 40 din, di ba? So, yung ating net requirement is 40 and yung planned order receipt is also 40. So, and then, 1 week before, week 2, yung order ng units. For week 3, so 0 naman siya. For week 4, so we have no inventory on hand. And yung ating net requirement will be 20. Now, if you can remember, yung pangatlong naka-encircle na number is 35. So, ibig sabihin, 35 yung kailangan nating orderin. So, 35 and then 35 for 1 week prior to week 4. So, 35 minus 20. So, this will give us a 15 units for the projected on hand on week 5. And then, ang ating gross requirement for week 5 is also 15. So, 0 siya for the next period as our projected on hand. And then lastly, on week 7, wala na tayong projected on hand. So 20 ang ating net requirement and yung huling naka-circled number or yung encircled number in the previous slide is also 20. So ibig sabihin, 20 rin ang kailangan orderin and this should be ordered a week prior to week 7. Now, actually, si PPB, lagi siyang eksakto. So wala siyang sobra or wala siyang excess in the last period. So, kaya mahalaga yung second and third note kanina doon sa ating concepts na dapat daw magsisimula lang tayo ng trial doon sa period na merong net requirement and yung ating trial lot size should be the same as the net requirement of that same period. Now, how do we compute for the cost of PPB? So, for computing the cost, first is to add the values from the part periods column. So, ito yung mga naka-box na values natin on the other slide. Second is to count these boxed values and this represents the number of orders. So, kanina, ang ating mga naka-box, pinanote natin, and then you will be counting every single box na yon and that will denote the number of orders that was released. So, therefore, we have 0 plus 0 plus 15 plus 0. So, yun yung ating naka-box. And then, we have 4 orders and minultiply natin siya by 80. So, therefore, ang ating total cost for PPB is $335. Okay? So, yung part periods kasi, yun yung pumalit sa holding cost. Okay? So, again, yung part periods, yun yung pumalit sa holding cost. Yun ay na gamit na natin using the concept of economic part periods or yung EPP. Diba? Ang pinagbasihan ng EPP is yung setup cost and yung holding cost. Alright? Now, to compare yung ating summary ng costs natin, so LotforLot incurred a cost of $400. Economic order quantity incurred a cost of $529.13. And yung part period balancing incurred a cost of $335. Therefore, ang part period balancing incurred the least cost and yun yung pinaka best na technique na gamitin in this particular example. Okay? So again, this ends our lecture. So again, if you have comments, suggestions, or any questions, just comment down below and I'll get back to you. So again, I will see you on our next video. Thank you for watching.